Anything off limits?
No.
Beautiful.
Love that.
Andrew Cuomo hit on you. Everyone remembers this piece of history. He's at the top of his game, and you go on The View and basically do like a bird call of sorts of like, I want to Andrew Cuomo.
What's crazy about what happened was that he didn't me. Like, I was ready to get by Andrew Cuomo.
Right.
I don't know if I would have moved into the governor's mansion because it was really badly decorated, but I was willing to him outside.
Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on?
I'm great. I'm excited for the back half of this episode. We pre-recorded it already. We're going to be having Chelsea Handler on the podcast.
A Betch's dream come true, right?
Indeed. Yeah. Huge Chelsea Handler fan. She inspired a lot of the ethos of Betches.
Right.
So it's really kind of like a full circle moment.
It's a really fun episode. It's so much fun. I mean, her energy, just like, you kind of realize right away why she is as big as she is. Like,
totally. And that rarely happens when you meet someone and you feel like they are exactly who, like the same vibe in person that they portray themselves to be as like in the public eye. Like, I felt like she was, everything she said like just felt so in brand for her.
right. And listen, her special's out on Netflix. That's part of why she's on the show. She has a book out. So we want you to go and support Chelsea in whatever way you can. Go watch the special. It's very funny. Go get the book. I'm sure it's great. I don't know the book. I watched the special. It's great. It is, you know, the one thing about her, and it made me, you know, I was thinking about it, like, she's a comedian. And what do you want from comedians? You just want them to be an open book. Like, you just want them to, like, go. And I just, like, took a lot of pride in how she was, like, game.
Anything,
just anything.
right. You said anything off limits. She was like, no.
Right.
Like, fuck that.
She's
like,
a famous
like very,
person. It was very Joan Rivers of her. Like, it was very, like.
You rarely see that.
Rarely. Like, we sometimes get into these, you know, we interview nobodies and they come on this show.
You're like, I don't want to talk about that. The public, the paparazzi will be all over me. It's like, who are you?
Right. Who are you? Who cares? Who even cares? And, like, she's full of contradictions. Like, she is fully just a human.
Yes.
And I think that's what you want from comedians. I was happy to, like, you know, I was just happy to talk to her.
Great
and
conversation.
See that. Great conversation. Because there were things like, you know, she's this outlandish spokesperson for, you know, politically. And then she has this whole story about the Bushes. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you know, we live in this world on the internet where everyone's like held to these like very strict, like, you know, like the angriest people on the internet just live in this moral black and white world. And it's like, it was just cool to see, like, she's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I played tennis at the Bush's house, you know? And you're like, okay. But she like hates Republicans. Like, you know, like it's just like all.
Totally. And I think that, I mean, that's like the refreshing part. She never takes herself so seriously that she, you know, can't just like make light or fun out of anything.
No apologies. So it's a great interview. It's fun to just hang with Chelsea Handler for, you know, a half hour as we did. Otherwise, to let you guys behind the curtains, we've taped already like 17 hours of podcast today. So
we've got some good guests coming out for you.
Great guests. Jordana and I working, you know, burning the midnight oil.
Hardest working people in the country.
In the conch. So what else? How's the dog? What's going on with you as we intro this episode?
I love the dog, but he is making himself more at home in ways that are a little bit annoying.
Okay.
Today, between our recordings, I text Mike. I'm like, how's Ronnie? How's he doing?
Yeah.
He's like, well, he just took his first shit in the house, you know, breaking grounds. I was like, I assumed he was just not going to be doing that because we've had him over a week. I was like, if he wanted to shit in the house, he would have done it by now.
Right.
And today, I guess that's what he wanted. He's a little bit, I mean, he's a puppy. He's not, you know, like mature dog yet. So we're having a lot of fun. He's very, very cute, but I have to say it's definitely a lot of work. He bites a lot.
He's got to be a smart dog though. I shit the first week I was in my apartment.
Yeah.
So I mean, right on the floor.
You took a minute.
Took a minute to learn. So he's pretty good. 2 weeks
he's great.
Is a good number.
Yeah. He's so fucking cute that I like forgive him for all these things. Like,
it shows you that's pretty privilege.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
really,
like if he wasn't so cute, you'd be a little bit more angry.
I think I actually would. Like, I look at him and I'm like, he's like, I'm taking him out. I'm taking him out so he doesn't shit in my house. And he's like biting at my ankles. And I'm like, Ron, like, you need me to survive. Like,
Right.
what the fuck are you doing?
Don't
Do you understand?
bite the ankle that feeds.
Yes, don't bite the ankle that feeds you. Like, I determine if you get a treat or not. Like, come on. How have you been?
Amazing. I'm good. The jet lag gets better and better every day.
You still waking up at 5?
I'm waking up early-ish, still feeling tired-ish, but it's just...
Where do you want to what's your like ideal place to land?
That's the problem, is like...
It never stays that way.
It never stays that way.
Sometimes you're like, maybe this is just my life now, but it never is.
The only thing that stuck from one vacation where I went abroad was Wordle. Like, that was the only thing I like kept.
I still do Wordle.
I'm still in on Wordle.
I've upgraded. I do spelling bee too.
Do you do the mini?
No, I do the real one.
Oh, I do the real one.
Like an intellectual.
Okay, excuse me. I have autocorrect on, like an idiot. I would love to wake up at like 7.
Yeah. Same.
I think that's like a time that I would like feel like I'm really doing it. But today, tough sledding. I mean, we were out late. Otherwise, I'm just like here. I'm gonna go to Boca on Friday. It feels a little bit like I'm trying to escape a little bit. Like I'm doing what women do with their nieces and nephews.
Right. Well, you said that. That's like
Yes.
your
Boca
thing.
is my nephew.
Where are we on the moving front? Limbo still?
Limbo.
Okay.
We're still limbus. I'm doing a couple shows. I'm going to be in Rochester as well as Nashville doing new material. Did the new material in New Jersey.
Fun.
It's loose. It's different. The special's getting edited. We're almost there. It's good.
Great.
Hopefully, we can, Betches and J-Train Industries can sell this thing.
Baby. I got
sell it.
dog walkers to pay for. Let's do this.
We got dogs to walk.
Yeah.
I got martinis to drink.
Yeah.
So that's on the horizon. But like,
I was thinking this. How much do you think you spend on dating a month?
I think about this a lot. A lot.
Do you have a number? Like, I'm sure you don't like account for. Like, you don't have like a spreadsheet, but
I'm spending. If I go on a date, it's at least
150.
No, 100.
100
if we're doing like a couple drinks and maybe a meal.
Nap,
I would say on average $100.
Okay. And how many dates do you go in a week?
Not a lot.
Sorry, I didn't mean to,
like let's not get too personal.
Forget that. So
no, I'm going on dates, but I'm paying. Yeah, you just like I like to pay. I don't have an issue with it, but there's a moment where people talk about the price of eggs. I'm talking about the price of martinis. They keep going up.
Right.
It's a combination. Like the two things.
No, there's not enough news coverage about the price of martinis.
We're spending too much on these dates. How am I supposed to? Well, I do. There's a little bit of it. Like you're like if you're gonna go out, I've always felt, don't go out unless you can afford it and you want to go.
Right.
And I can afford it and I want to go, but then there's a moment where I'm like, am I just throwing money away?
If you don't really want to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I being thoughtful and intentional?
Right. But you're not giving up anything to go. It's not like you're like not spending on something else because you're going on the dates. Right?
No, but I do have a thought. I'm like, it's like my friends who have families. I'm like, I guess this goes towards diapers at one point.
But it's funny because like you make a good living and like it kind of does make you think like most people make a worse living than you. I would think. I don't know how much. I have a sense that most
I'll send
people.
you my taxes.
I have a sense that most people make a worse living than you. So like it really does feed into what you say about a lot of men like not wanting to go there until they feel like they can. Like if you feel it and you're doing well, imagine those.
Listen,
who are not.
I get it, but that's part of the moving thing for me. Like, why do people move cities? And I've definitely had like these thoughts of like New York City of like, I do feel like I'm being like pushed out a little bit.
By who?
Just
the mayor.
The mayor. It's expensive to live here. The West Village where I live is like.
I mean, that's the most expensive place in the most expensive city.
And it's now touristy. I saw a fucking party bus the other day.
Oh my God. There goes the neighborhood.
It's over. Party bus. If you see a party bus in your neighborhood,
it's done.
It's done.
It's not cool
It's too
anymore.
late. It's too late.
So you're gonna move to the coolest place,
Boca.
I mean,
Where all the happening hipsters are. No, I don't know, but I just saw that and I was like, man, what am I doing here? Let's do an email before we get into the episode.
Let's do it. All right, guys, later this month, it's April 2nd. We have a live show on April 30th. It's a Wednesday night. You've got nothing better to do. It's going to be lovely in New York.
Get the tickets. It's the start of spring. This is like, let's get into going out season, assembling the group chat.
It's going to be fun.
We put on a fabulous show, emails, dating app makeovers. We do deal reveals, red flag or deal breakers, all the games you love. There's energy, there's fun, audience questions. If you got a crew, get them together. Let's go to the show.
Go to the show, betches.co/youuplive, betches.co/youuplive. We'll be there.
Contractually.
Yes.
So we'll be there. Otherwise, let's do an email. Let's do what we're famous for.
Let's do it. I'll read it. Okay. Dear J&J, longtime listener, first-time writer. Thanks for your advice. I am dating someone for the first time in almost 5 years.
Whoa. Back in the game.
Back in the saddle. I'm 30.
Dust off that cooch.
I'm 36. He's 31, and we met on Bumble. We've been seeing each other for 4 months. At 3 months, he did the reveal, saying he paused the apps and was focused on me. I felt the same. He's kind, thoughtful, and we have a great communication and chemistry. I couldn't be happier.
But
he's not someone I would have picked on paper, which is weird because they met on Bumble. So she literally did pick him on paper.
That's funny.
Right. We have a lot of differences in culture, religion, politics, and lifestyle. Normally, this would be a challenge for me, but our connection feels so easy that I haven't really worried. For context, I'm not religious, but his family is. He said I'd be expected to convert if we got married, which I wouldn't. I'm quite left-leaning politically. He is more right-leaning. I'm social and active. He's a homebody. His last marriage ended partly over this. I'm not set on kids. He originally was, but now seems unsure. Am I naive to think this won't be a problem later? Do I wait and see, or am I just wasting my time? I've worked on being open and focusing on how I feel in a relationship, respected, safe, loved. But is there such a thing as too many differences, or does love really conquer all? Signed, a potentially Delulu Betch.
Well, are you naive? Yes. Falling in love is naive.
Right.
Falling for someone.
By its definition, almost.
Totally. So, yes, you're naive. Let's accept that.
Sure.
She wrote one thing very specifically. I'm not religious, but his family is. He said I'd be expected to convert if we got married, which I wouldn't.
To me, that's the most important part of the email. I'm surprised she didn't like bold it.
Right.
Like that to me is like the rest of the stuff I think can be worked out to an extent. This part is like pretty black and white to me.
Right. The rest of it's vague and her kind of getting ahead.
Right.
The black and white nature of the like, I'd be expected to convert. Like,
and I'm not going to do that.
Right. This is, and I'm not. So this is a discussion to have right now.
Yeah.
Like this, the way you discuss one thing is how you discuss everything. So like, do you come to some conclusion with that makes you both happy?
Right.
Where you say, you know, you said his family is religious. So that means I'm assuming he's not as religious as his family.
But he did say that she would be expected to convert.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I kind of understand in a weird way. Like I do understand the idea like this would make my family lay off of us if you just convert. And I don't know what the nature of converting would be. Like if it's a, you know, just like, it's like, you know.
Sprinkle water,
right,
classes.
Right. Or if it's like a 30-week class. I don't know what it is. But.
Well, whatever it is, she doesn't want to do it.
She's out. So
Okay.
I think that is something where you can test this right now. And you might not want to. You might be happy. It's your first boyfriend in 5 years and you're like, I just want to sit in this. I found someone who can stand to fucking look at me. You know, like I do understand that.
Yeah.
Like that's where I feel for her.
Well, this is a question that she can only really answer herself, right? We can't really answer this for her. I think the questions to ask yourself are, am I okay with dating someone that doesn't end up in a marriage? Am I okay with dating someone for a while and then it comes to a head with these things which are big differences and it doesn't work out? What's my threshold for that? Is my threshold for that 3 months, 6 months, a year, 10 years, whatever it is? I think that's the first question. Because if the answer is like, I mean, and we'll see on this Chelsea Handler episode that we just are talking about, Chelsea Handler's not really dating to get married.
Right.
So she has a lot of relationships that she doesn't look at in this way. But if someone were, I think that would change the way that they approach this question.
Right. Like if she was in a rush to get married, Right. That's a bad way to put it, but you know what I mean.
If she was looking to only have relationships that were headed towards marriage and she wanted that sooner rather than later.
She wouldn't write to us about the family that wants her to convert, but she won't. She would have already had that argument.
You would imagine.
Or ended it.
Yeah.
If you want me to convert, I have to end this. And she hasn't done that yet.
Yeah.
So it might be she wants to be married one day, but knows this can never be. Or she's still waiting to make her decision.
Which is fine.
Totally fine. So like, I do think it's interesting. She's like, I'm quite left-leaning politically. He's more right-leaning. I'm social and active. He's a homebody. All of that other stuff is stuff you say about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and that's like the weird part about, and I think people have to come to terms with that a lot, like these days, where it's like you've been saying
putting
these
yourself
things,
in a box.
right?
Yeah.
You've been saying these things about yourself forever, and then it becomes so hard to unlatch them to realize you've been kind of, not that you've been a liar, but like you're not as left as you thought, not as right as you thought, you know, not as, you know, all these things are just things that you say to feel comfortable and have a team.
Yeah.
And
the real world is a lot more nuanced than that.
And complex. So I think it's interesting that you know, none of those would be naive to me.
Right.
None of those, you're dating someone who's a little bit more right than you are. Like,
fine,
but like you don't even have an example that you've had an argument about.
Right. The
It's not like
religious thing is much more concrete.
Here's the black and white thing, and you're putting it off.
Right.
So when do you get to that?
That's up to her, I think. That's up to her and how much she wants to, like how many years she's okay, or like whatever, years, months, weeks. At what point would she say, I wasted a lot of time in this. I wish I was meeting someone with more long-term compatibility, if that's what she wants.
And also, in addition to this, based on her email, like of all these vague things, I would want to know what this convert thing means to him. That's number one on the to-do list.
Hash out, yeah.
So that's the thing that gets you to learn what this is. You said you met on Bumble. You're how many months in?
They've been seeing each other for 4 months. At 3 months, he did the reveal.
So 4 months, like, this is when you start to see, like, how do we communicate here? So 4 months is not, to me, long enough to know if someone needs you to convert or not.
I mean, he's saying it.
Sure. But I'm saying you can learn a lot more. To me, to push someone else to convert, like, I'd want to unpack that.
Right. Well, it's worth having that conversation.
Yes,
I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's going to get you your answer. And I'm sorry that like all we can do is nudge you towards where that answer comes from. You and I both agree. There's the answer. Mm-hmm. That tells you everything about, are you too far apart? If you're too far apart to date, then you guys can't come to a conclusion on that.
Right.
But if you're able to like kind of come to like a discussion and it can be had respectfully and then this can work. This
is why this is important to me.
Right.
Or, you know, this is what my parents want. I'm not like, it's not really me. I don't know how important it would be to me. Whatever. Mm-hmm. All those nuances of that conversation. But if it's like a black and white thing, if that's something that's very important to me, as there's things that are important to people and they don't have to explain them, and that's their preference. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. If this is one thing in dating we talked about this in our Love Is Blind episodes. If there's something that's very important to you and it's very important that the other person be on the same page as you, there's nothing wrong in saying, I don't want to date this person anymore because they don't align with me on this.
There it is. We solved dating again.
We did. And we will be right back with the Chelsea Handler.
Boom.
So we are so excited today to be joined by a very special guest. She is a 7-time New York Times bestseller, comedian, host, all the things, a legend in the comedy business. Her new special is out on Netflix right now, and you can stream it right now. It's called The Feeling. Chelsea Handler, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh my God, guys. Hi. Thank you for having me.
It is such a pleasure.
So excited to have you. I'm one of the co-founders of Betches. We started in 2011, and we started this, one of our first columns was like Betch of the Week. And you were our first Betch of the Week. You were like our number one idol at the time, still are. But I think this, like it feels so full circle to have you on this podcast, because I remember reading all of your books. Are You There, Vodka? It's Me, Chelsea. And just such a huge fan, and like you were such a pioneer, I feel like, in women's comedy. So it just feels like so exciting for me as like a women's comedy brand owner just to have you on. So thank you again for coming on.
Oh, yes, my pleasure. I love podcasts, guys.
Yeah, you have one.
I think I prefer to do other people's podcasts. I just like to field questions. I mean, my podcast, I do field a lot of questions. We give advice. So it's kind of nice because we talk to regular people, and like, it's nice that I like to communicate with regular people, but I like being on podcasts because I just love talking. It's so easy.
I'm so happy you're here, and I want to talk to you about the special. It's great. We both watched it. It's so funny. The big revelation is that Andrew Cuomo hit on you. And I thought that story was like very interesting, and you name names, and this is before he's got like kind of broiled in allegations and all that. It's like Andrew Cuomo's at the top. You know, everyone remembers this piece of history. He's at the top of his game. All the women are talking about how they want to get with hot Andrew Cuomo. He's got nipple rings and all that stuff. And you go on The View and basically do like a bird call of sorts of like, I want to fuck Andrew Cuomo. And he reaches out. Like, is that crazy to you that happened?
What's crazy about what happened was that he didn't fuck me. Like, I was ready to get fucked by Andrew Cuomo publicly. I was ready to move into, well, I don't know if I would have moved into the governor's mansion because it was really badly decorated. I don't know if you guys ever saw photos of the interior, but I was willing to fuck him outside so that I didn't have to deal with the interior, you know? Plus we were dealing with a pandemic. We were knee deep in COVID.
This was like slam the pots and pans era.
This was when people were Windexing their food.
Right.
Like, we were knee deep in COVID. He was like a mirage to me in the desert. It was like I had been so dehydrated, and then I saw water in the form of Andrew Cuomo, and he was our leader. We were so dehydrated for leadership at that time. I loved the way that he got on TV every morning and yelled at all of us and screamed in that thick Italian, you know, predator accent, like you know, just yelling at us. I liked that.
Is kind of how you date. Is it like, are these men goals? Like, are they like mountains to climb? Because he's like a big figure. And you say in the special, you're like, it became competitive for you and other women that you didn't even know. Like, everyone's talking about how hot he is. And you're like, well, I want to be the one that wins. You say it on the special. So like, and then I'm like, I started like getting curious. I'm like, I Googled Chelsea Handler's boyfriends. You have a list of like power. You got like a great dinner party going here.
I have a pendulum swing that I do. I go from one end of the spectrum to the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So like, I went from, say, like Andre Balazs, who's a hotelier, to 50 Cent, or 50 Cent to Andre Balazs. And then like my big relationship after Andre Balazs was Joe Coy. Like, Joe Coy and Andre Balazs wouldn't be caught in the same room together.
She's like Kylie Jenner. You're like Kylie Jenner.
I'm exactly like Kylie Jenner. Everyone says that.
But
and
those two could afford the same dinner.
I don't date men because they're the last boyfriend I'm not dating
Rich
him
isn't
anymore
what
either.
I'm getting, but successful. Like,
No. The last guy I dated had no money. He was broke. I dated him for about 10 months, and that actually gets old pretty quickly, even though I was like, I don't care about money. I have my own money. After a while, you're like, you got to have to be able to pay for dinner at some point. You have to be able to pay for something. Like,
what did he do and how did you meet him?
I don't know what he did, quite frankly, as a
How
career.
do you meet him? Like in an alley? He was like going through the garbage and you were like
skiing. I met him skiing.
Okay, so he could afford the lift ticket. That's like $300.
He's a mountain man. He lives on the mountain.
That means he's a ski instructor.
He's not a ski instructor, no, but he's a good skier. So that was like the first. I love skiers, and I love skiing. So like a mountain man for me during the winter months was exactly what I was looking for, and I got it. And then that lasted for as long as that ran its course.
Well, can I ask, you don't have kids, don't want kids. Do you think that's changed kind of like the way that you've dated? Like it almost feels like you can date more like a guy, not having, any sense of timeline or urgency or feeling like you're scoping someone out for that. Like, you can date anyone you want for any amount of time that you want. Do you feel like that's true?
Yeah, I've dated some men with kids, and that always becomes a little bit more complicated. If they're young and they're still in the house, then that's like another thing you have to deal with. And then I have a lot of relationships, even ongoing, from ex-boyfriends' daughters. You know, like I collect young women in my, like young girls around me. Of course, I want to take care of them and help them. And so like, but my preference is to date men who have no children.
How do you meet? I mean, you said the ski guy. Did you just ski on up to him? Like, how do you meet men?
Yeah.
How do you get out there?
Sounds like you want to meet me.
I do.
We were skiing together and he was cute, and I think I knew him for a while, and he was unavailable, and then he became available, and I was like, okay, let's shack up, you know?
But like a lot of our listeners are like are successful women. Like, and I think you represent, like, just like meeting a guy on a ski mountain, like they're all looking to meet people in real life. They're all looking to meet men that are successful. I mean, like, again, the 50 Cent, Joe Coy, Andre Balaz, Dave Salamone, Bobby Flay, David Allen Greer. These are all like
Bobby Flay and David Allen. First of all, I never dated Bobby Flay
Okay.
or David Allen. David Allen Greer, I did ever date. He was my gynecologist, and that was in an acting role.
Okay.
So I never dated David Allen
this was
Greer.
a Google, okay?
But you've seen your vagina.
He's never been inside my vagina. No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
not professionally and not on a set. I have skied with David Allen Greer, actually. That was pretty funny because, he's a pussy. And he couldn't handle the cold weather for like more than 10 minutes. I mean, men are unbelievable, some of these guys that I've skied with. Kevin Nealon, I would like to go on the record and say also is a pussy on the slopes. That I skied with him. I don't remember where, but he complained the entire time about being cold. He wasn't a very good skier. And I told him that we would never ski together again. So I just want to call those two people out for being bad at skiing.
You heard it here first.
Rob Lowe is another person that claims to be a great skier. I have not witnessed that, but I intend to one day.
Have you dated him?
No, I've never dated Rob Lowe. No, he's been married for like 50 years.
Oh.
For me, I need a man to pursue me. I'll put it out there that I'm interested, but then I'm not chasing you. Like, I don't need to do that. So with the mountain man, he was cute. He brought me flowers a couple times. He was trying, like to date me. And I was like, that's cute. We'll have sex for sure. You're hot. Like, why wouldn't I? And with other men, like, it's very random, my male dating pattern. It's all over the place. I don't have a type. You can be black, you could be Asian, you can be white, you could be 70, you could be 40. Like, I have no pattern of dating. So I am open to all possibilities. And I like that about myself because I'm a free spirit. But for instance, like I was set up on a date a few weeks ago in LA. And I went to go meet this guy at some hotel bar, and he was wearing a bomber jacket and drinking Chardonnay. And I sat down and was like, I'm going to have to leave in 15 minutes. I told him, based on his outfit and his drink choice, I said, I can't be with someone who's drinking Chardonnay.
That was it. No Chardonnay.
No.
That's an ick for you?
Yes. It's an ick from women and from men. But if a man is drinking it, it's a double whoopsie doodle ick. And he was younger than me. So I thought, like, I just could tell he was younger than me, and like, he's just annoying a little bit, not annoying a lot, very nice guy, but just the way the first impression was the wrong impression. Mm-hmm. And then he ordered a second glass of Chardonnay. And I was like, you're going to have to drink that on your own because I'm out of here.
Arrest that man.
And then when he texted me the next day to say he had a good time or it was really nice meeting you, he's like, I hope you have a really good weekend. And I wrote back, I hope all of your weekends are good.
Oh, wow.
Goodbye.
This is
goodbye.
the final well wish.
Like, don't ask me out again.
Yeah, I'm not going to be mean, but I want to be direct. Like,
right.
It's just don't contact me again. We're not a match.
When you get set up like that, do you go to the setter-upper and go, what the fuck? How did you get me with Chardonnay?
No, I think it was nice that someone tried to set me up. So I sent her a text and said, thank you so much for the setup, but he wasn't for me.
Right. Just to make sure people knew.
What do you think makes a good setup? Do you get set up a lot?
I like to set people up. I get like all my gay guys, I'm always thinking of setting up because I have so many gay men around, and I'm like, why can't they all just hook up with each other? I mean, they're so horny, but I don't get set up a lot. I've been set up like 3 or 4 times, I think. And have they ever been successful? No.
You're single right now?
Yeah, single. I mean, I'm always kind of inveterately single, you guys. Like, I'm not a person who is seeking out, like, finding the one. That's not my MO. I'm just like, the more the merrier. I travel around the world. Like this summer, I just looked at my calendar I'm doing a European tour and I'm going to be in Europe for like 2 months, I'm going to be in like 15 different countries this summer. So like, I'm going to get a lot of action,
Right.
like I like to like soar like an eagle through the world. and just have fun with men and not take anything seriously. And if I get to a place in my life where I want something serious, I'll be honest about it. But I'm not there. And I think what I'm learning is I won't be there anytime soon.
Jared, she sounds like your dream girl.
Yeah, you and I would go really well together. I gotta wonder then, was you and Joe Coy were like, you know, people were like really cheering for it. Like it felt like it was very public, and it felt like the internet was kind of like doing their own pots and pans to you guys. Was that hard to like be in something that is like getting more serious to everyone else, and you have to kind of you're realizing that the bubble might pop down the road, that you gotta like end this thing that people are kind of cheering for?
Yeah, I mean, I was in love with him, so it wasn't like I had that attitude when I was with him. Like sometimes in relationships, you know, when you get in them, you're like, oh, this is actually really good. I could probably stay in this for a long time. That's how I felt with Joe Coy until I didn't. That was kind of the first time that I had been that public about my affection with someone, and people were loving it and rooting for us and cheering us on. And that felt really nice to provide for people. I've never been like, you know, like someone, I had never felt people rooting for me in such a sweet way. Like people loved me being in love. And I thought that was so nice. And I wanted everyone to kind of find that love. But then that relationship didn't end up working out in the end either. I don't get too upset when things get, you know, are over. Of course, it's hurtful at the time when or disappointing, I should say, because I didn't want to break up with him. I mean, I did, but I didn't want to. I was hoping that we could like come to a different kind of agreement, but it wasn't going to happen. And then, so I was upset, but also at a certain age, you realize it doesn't matter. Like breaking up is like, you're going to be okay. Like we've all been through it a million times. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like a game changer in your life. You understand at a certain age that you're going to survive and you're going to be okay.
Right. Does it feel, had you dated other people like in the comedy space? Does it feel competitive when you're dating someone who kind of does something similar to what you're doing?
Competitive with the person?
Yeah.
No. I never felt competitive with Joe Coy. I mean, he plays arenas. He's got his own huge comedy business. Like, you know, we have different things going on. Like, so no, that was never our issue. I didn't feel that way.
When you're about to end that, are you like, oh my God, I'm going to have to answer questions about this the rest of my life or for like the next year? Or does that cross your mind?
Yeah. I mean, the public aspect of things in this time, like I talk about this in my most recent book a little bit, like I talk about the Joe Coy of it all, but yeah, you're definitely considering the public aspect of things because you're like, oh God, now I'm a loser. I just made such a big deal about being in love and now I'm going to break up with this person and it's public and we have to like make a public statement. So I just did it. You know, I told him, I'm like, I'm going to do this. This is what's going to happen. And,
right.
But that doesn't become your deciding factor. I mean, I'm not the type of person that would allow myself to be driven by that. That's just a kind of shitty byproduct of being in the public. But also it's like, I deserved that. I made my bed. Now I had to lie in it. So I'm okay with that. I'm a big girl about that stuff.
Well, you might not realize how relatable that is to the everyday Jim and Joe, like the everyday, you know, the woman that's out there who's put on their Instagram, you know, the hard launch, and then all of a sudden, you know, that goes away.
The brunch table.
Right. You got to go to your brunch table. You got to go to your mom. You got to go to your aunt. You got to go to Thanksgiving. You know, everyone has their own smaller version of that doesn't involve fans, but it involves the fans of them in their life. You know, I think that's, it's hard, you know, for anybody.
Yeah, that's true. It is. I guess it probably is relatable because it is kind of embarrassing to have to like, but it's not, you know what I mean? That's right. Life. Like, it's just the way it is. And once you accept that and get over yourself, it's all, I think, comes down to like, do you take yourself that seriously? The answer is I do not. I don't care. Like, I care a little bit and then I, you know, give it 24 hours and you don't.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much true for most things that you have a big reaction to. If you give it like 24 to 48 hours, you're like, I don't even need to answer that email anymore. I don't care, you know?
Totally. Yeah. I'm interested to get your take on this because we get a lot of emails from women. Like Jared said, our followers are like successful, career-driven women. And we get this recurring email, I feel like, and it's often asked like, are men intimidated by successful women? Am I too intimidating for guys? Am I getting dumped because I'm so successful, because I'm more powerful? Do you feel like that's a thing or that's true? We've kind of debated this before.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of men think that they're the type of guy that can date a strong, independent woman. But when it comes down to it and then they're in it, then the dynamic is like, when you don't have anything that I need, right? If I can afford to take care of myself, I have money, I have a career, I have houses. I don't need anything material from you. I don't need jewelry. I don't need you to buy me expensive things. None of that matters to me. Then it's like some men, especially if they're, have a big ego and they're powerful, they're like, well, then what am I contributing? Like, well, it's almost emasculating for them. And that's a fucking bummer because it's like, come on, you should want an independent, strong woman. What do you want? Another dependent? Like, it should be a turn on. You would think being strong and having your own thing and having your own life and your career is like an attractive quality. But so many times I've been made to feel like it's an unattractive quality.
What are they incapable of doing? Like, what would what's the next step when they realize that, like, okay, I can't impress you with these dinners or trips or jewelries or
ski lessons,
things, right? Get good at skiing. I guess that's the only way to impress you.
Yeah, I'm not going to date anybody that can't ski. That's just not happening, especially not in the wintertime. I mean, maybe in the summer, fine. But that's like a prerequisite for me in the winter months.
What else other than skiing? What are you expecting from them?
I want a good guy. Like, I'm very honest. I'm direct. I appreciate the same. You can do nice things for me, but I just don't need any of that financial. Like, I don't need that aspect. I don't need what is typically demonstrative of a man showing a woman that he's interested. Like, that stuff I don't want gifts and I don't want flowers. And, I don't care about all that stuff. I want someone who's cool, that's fun to hang out with, that can party without being a sloppy hot mess. I want someone who's not going to snore on me or sweat on me in the middle of the night. I want someone who cares about my well-being and is like, like an intellectual, not like, you don't have to be, but somebody who reads books and is like interested in things and not a dumbass.
It's a good dating app bio.
Yeah.
Not looking for not a dumbass.
That's pretty much the
it's a bear bar.
Top line should be, don't be a dumbass.
When you get pursued, is there like a little bit of a, like, do you have to worry that they're like, that they know who you are and then this is like, you're kind of their goal? Like, do you have to worry or do you care about that?
No, I don't care about that. I mean, that's part of the package. I can't. What am I going to pretend I'm someone not? Like,
right.
People know who I am.
Right.
So it's not like I can hide that. You know what I mean? If they're using me or my celebrity to get to, like, if that's their only reason that they like me, that's pretty obvious. I'm not stupid. But even so, that's kind of part of who I am. That's part of my identity, unfortunately. So I don't ever look at that as like, people are like, how could you be on Raya or something when I used to be? I mean, I'm on Raya still, but I haven't really been on it in a while. It's very cyclical for me. Right. But when people be like, how could you be on that? I'm like, easily. Like, who gives a shit? I mean, if I get set up with someone, they're going to know who I am. If I'm on Raya, they're going to know. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It's part of the equation.
And on the flip side, are you ever dating anyone? Because you talk about, clearly you talk about people that you've dated. You kind of like give a lot of behind the scenes, which I think is refreshing. A lot of people don't do that. Is anyone that you date like, please don't talk about me, or please don't write about me, or please
I mean, yeah, for sure. Or they've been like, yeah, or why didn't you use my real name? Like, people, or the opposite, Some guys would be like, I wrote this chapter in one of my books called Big Red, which is about somebody who's like, he's not famous, but he's well known in our industry. And he was like, why didn't you use my real name? I would have loved for people to know that we had dated for a short time. And I was like, I didn't know, I was protecting your privacy. Usually it's the opposite. I definitely have men. Yeah, I just had an experience with someone who was like, I really don't like being in the public in this way. And I'm like, okay, well then, I don't know I'm sorry. That's part of my deal. Like,
was it Andrew Cuomo?
No, Andrew Cuomo. No, but that was a rejection. He ghosted me, Andrew Cuomo. And now he's going to be running to be the mayor of New York. So if he wins that, we're going to, I don't know, I guess maybe.
Well, now he's kind of paying for ghosting you, right? He's about to be, everyone's going to know.
Yeah, everyone is going to.
Yeah, that he also tried to DM you and, and tried to break his own quarantine rules.
Yeah. He was going to have sex. Yeah, we had a date plan. I thought for sure I was going to fuck Andrew Cuomo. So it was disappointing at the time, but also like my sister says that my mother is just saving me from like bad things of happening and getting canceled. So it was like a blessing in disguise that someone got involved and put the kibosh on us, whether it was him or one of his staff members. Like, my theory is I'm sure someone from his staff was like, wait, what are you going to do? You're going to go meet Chelsea Handler when you're yelling at the whole country to stand 6 feet apart. You're going to go have some dalliance with one of the loudest people in the country. Like, that's not a smart political move. I mean, my sisters were like, if you think he's going to do this, you're out of your mind. Like, you are the most dangerous person to be like involved in, because you tell everybody everything. And I don't mean to like tell on people. I actually do keep some stuff private that people don't know about. But these are my stories too. So sometimes when you're telling a story, you're telling another person's story, and they're like, whoa, I didn't sign up for that. So I do have to be sensitive to that to some degree. You know, I try not to take it too seriously. But if someone's like, please don't talk about me, then I won't.
So it's an opt-out policy. Like, they have to ask to be taken out, as opposed to like, or otherwise they should think that they're in automatically.
Well, I don't know that you should think you're in. I mean, that's like, not everybody gets into the stand-up routine or to my books. Right. There are other people that I've had sex with that are not in the book that aren't worth mentioning, or that I don't have a funny story about. You know what I mean? Right. Or an interesting story about.
I mean, there's probably nothing more annoying than someone going, is this going to be part of your act? Like, you probably get that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the opposite of what you want.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not trying to meet guys to put them in my act. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that.
So we play a game called Petty or Prudent. I think you'd be the perfect person to assist us in this game. People write in, they've gone through a breakup, and then they react in a certain way. And we want to find out if you think they acted petty or prudently after the breakup. Do you get the premise here?
Yeah.
Jordan, you want to start with the first one?
Yeah, I'll start with our first one. Hi, J&J. Big fan. Thanks for all the laughs and nuanced advice. Back in 2018, my best friend was on the verge of dumping her awful boyfriend. That night, he hosted a party, and she went in thinking, one wrong move and I'm out. Meanwhile, my friends and I were in his room, knowing this might be our last time in his apartment, itching to do something petty but subtle, just in case they stayed together. Enter our most chaotic friend, who grabbed his toothbrush and stuck it straight up her butt all the way. They did break up that night, but later got back together briefly, during which my friend learned that he had gotten really sick after the party. A year later, we told her, and she thought it was hilarious. So petty or prudent, as payback for your best friend's awful boyfriend, your friend, without you knowing, sticks his toothbrush up her butt. Thanks for all you do. Are we the assholes?
Yes, you are the assholes. That's so fucked up.
I agree.
That is petty. That is petty.
She also says awful boyfriend with absolutely no context.
Exactly. And then they were going over there that night. Like, what? First of all, if you're going to stick a toothbrush up somewhere, stick it up your vagina. That's a lot less disgusting than sticking it up your asshole. And that's enough of a payback. Or if you're going to do something, it's kind of like a waiter spitting in someone's food. Like, no one even knows about it. So why are you doing it?
Right.
And it's so gross. Like, no, that's petty.
What do you think of the friends getting involved with the boyfriend? Like, obviously, if it's a very serious, toxic relationship, but sometimes the friends, it feels like the girlfriends get told all these stories again and again. So they feel like they have to do something like this, or they feel like they're a part of it.
I understand it, but it's immature. Like, it's not necessary unless there's a major infraction and your friend has been totally fucked over by a guy, then you can get involved and you can say something. But even then, like, think about how you want to look back at that time in 5 years. Like, my friend once keyed my boyfriend's car when I was like 21 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, solid move, like, way to go. But I was 21 years old.
Right.
I don't need someone to key someone's car for me anymore. Like, if I break up with someone, I don't have a vendetta against them. Or if they break up with me, I mean, that doesn't really happen. But, say that did happen, I wouldn't have a vendetta against them. It's like, what are you upset about? First of all, in this story, the girl was going to break up with him, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
To me, that's the worst part. Like, imagine if the roles were reversed and like my boyfriend was going to break up with me and then his friends like stuck my toothbrush up his ass. That would sound...
I mean, that's really, really fucked up.
Right. That's like going to the police worthy. Okay, let's do another one. You ready?
All right. You want to read it?
Yeah. J&J, love the pod. Got a petty or prudent for you. A few years ago, I was living with my husband in Georgia, but moved 5 hours away for a 1-year medical residency. We eventually agreed to divorce. I was still paying half the rent since the lease was in my name, and he was supposed to send me his share, but he fell months behind. When I asked about the money, he sent me a video scrolling through texts from people who owed him money. In the video, I noticed a favorite contact pinned at the top, a girl I didn't recognize. She was sitting at our kitchen table with my dog and pictures in the background that I had painted. At first, I brushed it off. We were getting divorced. But then I realized I had taken those paintings with me when I moved. If they were in Georgia, that meant I was in Georgia. I confronted him, and he finally admitted he had cheated. Everything was still in my name, so I immediately called the utility companies and had the water, electricity, and internet shut off mid-August, 90-degree heat. A few hours later, he called asking if I paid the bills. He then had the nerve to text me asking for the electric company's name and phone number. So, petty or prudent?
Prudent.
Yeah.
That's lying. And you don't lie to your fucking wife. You know what I mean? If you're getting divorced, be honest. Like, it's just all bullshit. I hate that. If you want to behave like that and you want to be a cheater, it's fine if you want to be upfront about it. And then let that person decide, your spouse decide if they want to deal with that behavior. But when you lie about something, you kind of deserve whatever the fuck you get. Like, just everyone is such a pussy when it comes to the truth. Mm-hmm. Like, don't be so craven. Just say your truth. Yeah, I had an affair. And you probably get a much different response. So I'm on that girl's side.
Yeah. And I mean, she doesn't it sounds like she doesn't live there. So why does she need to pay any of the utilities?
Exactly. Why is she paying for him and his girlfriend to hang out?
Yeah, the most prudent part is he's behind on his bills. So when you're behind on your bills, you shut off the utilities.
Or get some money from your girlfriend that you cheated on me with.
Right. How would you be upfront about cheating? I have to ask you, Chelsea.
Well, to carry on an affair, right? If you're having an affair and you're married, I just find that to be so craven. Like, either get divorced and leave your wife and go have an affair. Like, if you develop feelings for someone, then get divorced. Then be like, okay, I'm actually having feelings for somebody at work. I think it's a wrap on our relationship. Or have the affair and then be clean about it. Go, all right, I have to tell you something. I cheated on you and I'm actually interested in pursuing this person. Like, what is the point of keeping that under the rug? You're putting everyone's lives on hold. You're clearly out of your marriage. Your wife would help. It would be helpful to know the truth. She's not even living with you. I just think you should be honest about those things when you get feelings. And if you're just fucking everyone while you're married, then you don't really deserve a spouse anyway, unless you're being upfront about it and saying, I want an open relationship. I'm poly or whatever your shtick is.
Agreed. And you definitely don't deserve air conditioning.
No, definitely not. That's like or ice for that matter. She should have taken his ice away too, is how I feel. Like, I'm down for whatever you want to do as long as you are upfront about it. When I date men, they typically know that I'm a casual dater. It's probably not going to be serious. And if it does get serious or we fall in love, then great, we can have that conversation. But I don't ever misrepresent like who I am.
I think that's very inspiring, honestly. Like, because I don't think most people have that attitude.
Yeah.
And so what would you say is the car keying thing? Is that the pettiest thing you've ever done in a relationship? Have you done? I guess that was your friend. It wasn't really you.
Yeah, that was pretty petty. I mean, I've done so many things in my 20s. I can't even remember how total petty shit. But, you grow up and you're like, that's so dumb. Like, I don't have the energy to be upset about something like that. I get more upset on behalf of my friends than I do myself. If somebody like screws me over, I mean, I don't really have that issue with a lot of men because I don't have terrible taste in men. I have had it, but I'm pretty clear now about who's the loser and who isn't.
To anyone listening who also has had some shitty taste in men, how do you feel like you improve that, or you've improved that?
What's the one thing you look for now?
Honesty. Honesty is the most important thing to me. Like, integrity, honesty. Like, are you upfront? Are you do you have a difficult time with difficult emotions? Certain people, it's like a maturity thing, it's my age. It's that I'm older now and I get it. And I have more wisdom and I trust myself more. My instincts I know are right, instead of years of questioning. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you're a little bit less secure with who you are and you kind of let people mislead you. Whereas I just turned 50 years old. Like, I have a total bullshit meter. Like, it's going to be really hard to run me around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get like gobsmacked, heartbroken by somebody. It's pretty unlikely at this juncture that someone's going to twist me around like that. So I would say to anyone's listening that are like young people that are experiencing this, like how to get out of a bad pattern. I have never dated the same type of person twice because I like to learn my lesson the first time. I don't want to go to summer school. I want to go to Mallorca. I don't want to learn lessons multiple times. I'm never going to have a man be in a relationship where a man treats me poorly again. Like that's just never going to happen.
Right. I love that.
No, it's great.
You make it sound easy, but like, no, I think that's like, it kind of is. It is that easy.
It is that easy because when you hold yourself to a certain standard of behavior, then you are attracting other people who are at that level. Because if they don't meet you there, then there's too much of a gap to have a connection anyway. So it's like all ships rise with the tide. So when you rise your tide, you're getting better ships. So that's just the attitude that everyone should have is like, when you're heartbroken and you're dealing with heartbroken, like the biggest lesson is don't repeat this type of behavior. Don't repeat this type of relationship. It's actually quite easy. Everyone has free will. Well, for the time being, but we have free will. Like, come on, guys, everyone can step it up a little bit. I'm talking to women and, women who repeat patterns and men who repeat patterns.
Well, this was awesome. I'm so happy you came on the show, Chelsea. I was wondering the first date at a hotel bar with Chardonnay dude. What's your perfect first date? What would you want?
It's nice to meet someone casually and connect. Like it's nice to meet someone in a group of friends and then kind of have a flirtation that develops. But if we're going on a first date, it's not going to be dinner. It's going to be a drink. It's not going to be coffee. I don't fucking drink coffee and I don't want to meet anyone for coffee. I'm going to go meet you at a bar. And then basically, if things are nice and go well, then we probably will get dinner. But I'm not committing to dinner. And if I have a second drink, that's a good sign.
Okay. And have you gone on dates off of the apps?
Yeah.
I know you've been on them, but you've gone out with people from there?
Yeah. Usually those are for penetration in my mind. Like if I'm in New York for a weekend or I'm in London and I'm like, oh, I want to go have sex with somebody. And like that's pretty convenient, but that's what I use it for typically. I did date this guy from Raya that I've passed around to like 3 of my girlfriends. And I dated him for a while. Then my other friends like, I need a hot guy. I'm like, actually, I have this guy that I'm no longer interested in sleeping with. His name is so-and-so. And I'm like, he's pretty hot. I'm like, I think you'd like him. And she's like, I don't want to fuck a guy that you fucked. I'm like, why not? He's single. He's available. He'll fuck you. And so she started dating him. And then my other friend, when she was done with him, because he was kind of just like, everyone's just kind of like, yeah, he's hot and nice, but there's nothing, no one's in a long-term relationship. So now like 3 different friends of mine have had sex with these guys.
I just like that this guy's out there. It's like, what do you do? Well, I'm Chelsea Handler and her friend's coxman. I just get kind of passed around.
Yeah. You're describing it like I describe my new dog walker.
Right.
Like, all my friends have tried him out.
We're like passing him around like a party favor.
Yeah. Well, this was amazing. Chelsea, we were so happy to have you on. We want everyone to go watch the special. It's called The Feeling. You'll get the full Andrew Cuomo story. You get stories about the Bush family. You get stories about Chelsea's upbringing and growing up and her childhood.
Childhood masturbation stories. It's on Netflix, everybody. You can go download it now. You can go stream it now.
Stream it now. So thank you again, Chelsea. This was wonderful.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Great talking to you.